will discuss different modes of heat transfer. The modes of heat transfer are conduction, convection, and radiation. Heat is a form of energy. Heat is a form of energy that transferred due to temperature difference. Temperature difference. The main law that govern heat transfer are first law of thermodynamics. It gives us a sense of how the energy is conserved. Means it says it is nothing but first law of thermodynamics is law of conservation of energy. It says that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can be transferred from one form to other. Heat is a form of energy, therefore heat follows first law of thermodynamics. And second law of thermodynamics gives the direction in which heat transfer takes place. That is, heat transfer takes place from high temperature to low temperature. And continuity equation, that is mass conservation equation, flow equations. These are the four things which are necessary, which governs heat transfer, because heat transfer also involves mass transfer also, because when in some modes like convection, heat transfers also involves mass transfer, therefore equation of flow is also necessary. Fundamental laws governing heat transfer are conduction. Conduction is governed by Fourier law of cooling. Conduction is governed by Fourier law of cooling. Convection, Newton law of cooling. Radiation is governed by Stefan Boltzmann law. These are the three laws which governs conduction, convection, and radiation. Conduction heat transfer. Conduction heat transfer is the heat transfer due to direct contact, due to random movement of molecules. It mainly happens in solids. In a solid, there will be free electrons which move. Due to that, they conduct heat. They conduct heat energy. Conduction heat transfer is due to direct contact. Convection heat transfer. In convection heat transfer, uh, the fluid will be involved, which there will be bulk motion of the fluid in convection heat transfer. And radiation heat transfer does not need any intermediate medium for the heat transfer. In practical cases, there will be combination of one or more modes of heat transfer. Conduction heat transfer is governed by Fourier law of conduction. It says that heat transfer is directly proportional to temperature difference and area normal to the flow. That is very important. Here, heat transfer, if we take heat transfer Qx, if there is a block, if the temperature on this side is T1 and if the temperature on the other side is T2, heat transfer takes place from T1 to T2 in this direction. Suppose if I call it as Qx, Qx is the heat transfer in x direction. Qx is the heat transfer in x direction. According to Fourier law of Fourier law of conduction is directly proportional to area and temperature difference. Conduction is directly proportional to area and temperature difference, that is T1 minus T2. T2 minus T1, final temperature minus T1, T2 minus T1, and inversely proportional to the length divided by L, inversely proportional to length. The negative sign is taken because mostly T1 will be greater, therefore if we use the same uh, sign here, if we use the positive sign, then we'll get negative heat transfer. Therefore, for sign convection, it is taken as minus Ka T2 minus T1, which will be Ka T1 minus T2. Negative sign is taken because heat transfer flows in the from higher temperature to lower temperature. If we use here, K should be, K is a thermal conductivity, negative. If we use this equation here, T2 is greater, smaller compared to T1. Therefore, we'll get Qx as negative. To make it as positive by sign convection, it is taken as negative, minus. If it is minus here, then the term inside T2 minus T1 will also be the negative term. Therefore, Qx will get positive. And it is heat transfer from the body. Always, if you take each cross section, it will be heat transfer from the body. Heat transfer from the body is taken as negative from first law of thermodynamics. From thermodynamics, Fourier law of conduction, if we want to discuss in detail, uh, there is it is an empirical law, means there is no theoretical proof for it, only it is based on the experiments. It is for steady state one dimensional conduction equation, whatever I have written above. And here it is assumed that temperature is profile is linear. That is one of the assumption made by Fourier while deriving the law, that is this one, Qx equal to minus Ka T2 minus T1, or Ka T1 minus T2 divided by L. Suppose if we consider a slab, on one side if T1 is the temperature, on other side if T2 is the temperature. If T1 is higher and T2 is lower, then we can write Q is equal, from Fourier law of conduction, Q is equal to Ka T1 minus T2 divided by L. K is called as a thermal conductivity. It is a property of the material. Its unit will be watt per meter Kelvin. A is the cross section area, or air. Q is flowing in this direction. A is the area normal to the flow, means it is this area. When we view from the other side, it is the Q is flowing in this direction, x direction. Area we have to take, we should not take this area. That is, if suppose if L is the length, if it is a rectangular bar of cross section A, or cross section B of its sides, we have to take area as B into B. That is the area normal to flow. We should not take the area L into B, because heat is flowing in x direction. We have to take area normal to the flow in convection. Convection heat transfer is carried out by the bulk motion of the fluid. Suppose if you heat water in a container, there will be heat transfer. The water from the bottom gets heated up, it loses its density and it rises in the upward direction, means, and the water which is at the top, it will be having higher density, therefore it moves in the downward direction. Therefore a convection current will form like this. Due to density difference, a convection current will form, and convection heat transfer takes place. Mainly convection heat transfer takes place due to the bulk motion of the molecules. Convection currents are set up in a pan of water heated. Here there is no external stirring. The convection heat transfer is taking place due to density difference, therefore it is called as natural convection. And if we stir it externally, that type of convection is called as forced convection. Convection is governed by a law called Newton law of cooling. It is given by Q is equal to, convection heat transfer Q is equal to HA into delta T, HA into delta T. Here the important thing is delta T is again the temperature difference. Suppose if there is a if there is a block, if there is a rectangle block, if there is a rectangle block, if fluid is flowing around this block, if fluid is flowing around this block, convection heat transfer takes place. Suppose if the block is at a higher temperature T1, if T1 is the temperature of the block, if T infinity is the temperature of the fluid, heat convection, if T1 is higher, convection heat transfer takes place from the block to the fluid. If this is the rectangle bar, heat transfer takes place from the bar to the fluid. Okay, here T1 minus T infinity, the delta T, H is called as heat transfer coefficient, convection heat transfer coefficient. Its unit is watt per meter square Kelvin. It cannot be calculated directly, it cannot be measured directly, it has to be calculated. Means H is not a property of the fluid or property of the material. As we have seen in the conduction heat transfer, thermal conductivity is a property of the material, but heat transfer coefficient H is not at all a property of material. It depends on, heat transfer coefficient depends on the fluid properties, flow properties, and the type of fluid. It depends on, as well as the type of the solid. It cannot be, it is not a property here. H is not a property, that is convection heat transfer coefficient. A, it is very important here. A is the area in contact of the fluid to the solid. Convection heat transfer mainly takes place from solid to the fluid. Here A is not area normal to the flow, A is area in contact of the fluid to the solid, that is A. Radiation heat transfer, energy transfer by means of electromagnetic waves is called as radiation heat transfer. It can take place in vacuum also. Electromagnetic waves can propagate in vacuum also, that is called as radiation heat transfer. There is a concept called as black body in radiation heat transfer. A black body is the one which absorbs all types of radiation. Radiation heat transfer is governed by Stefan Boltzmann law. Stefan Boltzmann law states that radiation heat energy emission is proportional to fourth power of absolute temperature. Fourth power of absolute temperature means it is, absolute temperature scale is Kelvin scale. Fourth power temperature for radiation we must take in Kelvin. For radiation heat transfer analysis, temperature must be taken in Kelvin. And sigma, or here it is mainly given as radiation heat transfer. Suppose radiation heat transfer is Q. Q is the radiation heat transfer. It is equal to sigma. Sigma is the Stefan Boltzmann constant. It is and epsilon. So we'll discuss this. Epsilon is called as emissivity. A is the area, and T raised to 4. T raised to 4. This is the equation for radiation heat transfer. Here E is the, epsilon is the emissivity, whose value is between 0 to 1. Epsilon, if it is a, we'll discuss in detail regarding radiation heat transfer. Okay, when it is happening, when radiation is happening between two bodies, it can be given, the Q can be given as Q is equal to sigma into epsilon into A into temperature difference, that is T raised to 4 minus Ts raised to 4. Ts raised to 4. Concept of thermal resistance. Okay, in conduction heat transfer, when if T1 is the temperature here and T2 is the temperature on the other side, there will be heat transfer due to temperature difference in the form of electrical resistance. Here heat current is flowing. If we find the analogy for electric current, then we can get it as q is equal to, we know that for a electric current, I is equal to phi by r, delta phi by r, or potential difference divided by, for this is I the electric current. In the similar way, if we uh, write electrical analogy for the thermal heat current, for a heat current, then again we can get it as delta t divided by r, delta t. Here if we can see the analogy between these two equation, if we want to see this equation and this equation, here I is the electric current, q is the heat current, delta t is the temperature difference, v is the voltage difference, r is the electrical resistance, here r is the thermal resistance. If we want to get the similar electrical analogy for the heat transfer, then we can write it as q is equal to, we know from Fourier's law of conduction, q is equal to ka t1 minus t2 divided by L. Here if we write this equation in this form, that is q is equal to delta t1 minus t2 divided by L, what we get is t1 minus t2 delta t divided by this term. This term is called as thermal resistance. As in the similar way, it is given as electrical resistance in electric current. In heat current, this term L divided by Ka is called as thermal resistance for a slab current, for a slab of conduction. Thermal resistance, it is a electric analogy between heat and electricity. Here T1 minus T2 divided by R, that R is nothing but L divided by Ka. Okay. In the similar way, if we want to get a electrical analogy for a convection heat transfer, we know convection heat transfer is governed by Newton's law of cooling. It is HA Ts minus Tf. Ts is the surface temperature, Tf is the fluid temperature. Then we can get electrical analogy for the convection heat transfer coefficient as delta T divided by 1 by HA. For a convection heat transfer, this term, that is convection heat transfer, 1 divided by HA is the thermal resistance for a convection heat transfer. L divided by Ka, this term, these are the important thing. L divided by Ka, L divided by Ka is the thermal resistance for a conduction heat transfer. L divided by Ka is the thermal resistance for conduction heat transfer. In the similar way, 1 divided by HA is the thermal resistance for convection heat transfer. Sometimes convection will be together, then we have to be careful. We will add these thermal resistance, that will do further here. Okay, for a radiation heat transfer, we know if epsilon is equal to 1, then q is equal to a into sigma. We know q is equal to sigma into a, sigma into epsilon into a into delta t, t1 raised to 4 minus t2 raised to t1 raised to 4 minus t2 raised to 4, t2 raised to 4, t2 raised to 4. Okay, t1 raised to 4 minus t2 raised to 4. Suppose here f1 is called as a view factor which depends on the orientation, means in radiation heat transfer lecture video will clear that. F1 is the view factor. It depends on the orientation of the two bodies. Orientation of the two bodies. uh, Here again we can write it as T1 minus T2 divided by R radiation. R radiation is the radiation thermal resistance. Okay, we'll discuss further thermal diffusivity. There is a property called as thermal diffusivity. Before going to that property, we'll discuss three-dimensional conduction equation. In the other lecture video, I have derived this equation, three-dimensional conduction equation. This equation is very important. Actually, it is nothing but the law of conservation of energy. That is, energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can be transferred from one form to another form. Suppose if this is a block, whatever the energy that enters the system plus energy that is generated in the system, or rate of change of, that is energy in minus energy out plus energy generated is equal to energy stored. Means whatever the energy that is generated, whatever the energy that enters the system. Suppose if there is a account, the amount of money you add into the account minus amount of energy that leaves the account. If you add some amount, the amount of money that you add into the account minus the amount of money that you take from the account, it is nothing but the change in the balance of the account. In the similar way, for a heat transfer, whatever the energy that enters minus whatever the energy that leaves, plus here energy in a account, there are no source that amount is generated in the account, but in a heat transfer there are sources like chemical reaction. Due to the chemical reaction, there will be energy generation. Whatever the amount, that is whatever the energy that enters into the system minus the energy that leaves the system plus energy that is generated in the system, it is equal to energy change in the energy of the system. It is equal to energy change of the system. Energy change or energy stored means, if initially the energy of the system is assumed as 0, then that will be the stored energy. Or we can write the rate at which energy enters the system minus the rate at which energy leaves the system plus energy generated in the system is equal to change in the energy of the system. This is nothing but a law of conservation of energy. By deriving this, we will get one equation. If Qx, Qy and Qz are the heat transfer that enters the system, and Qx plus dx, Qy plus, from this diagram, if Qx, Qy, Qz is the energy entering the system minus Qx plus delta x plus Qy plus delta y, these are the energy leaving the system, and Egen is the energy generated in the system, it is equal to energy stored. Energy stored is stored energy will be stored in the system in the form of internal energy, and it is given by C into delta T, C into dou T by dou T. If for a time we are taken, therefore dou T by small dou T. This entire derivation I have done in the lecture video of three-dimensional conduction equation. The same this derivation I have done here. I have taken is, I want to Explain the concept of thermal diffusivity. Here we'll get this equation. Here this first term is called as diffusion term, the second term is called as source term, and this term is called as steady state term. Steady state term means if temperature does not changes with time, then this term will be equal to 0. If there is no source, if there is no generation of heat, then this term will be equal to 0. This is a three-dimensional conduction equation. Three-dimensional conduction equation if kx, ky and kz is equal to 0. This derivation also I have done. Here this k by rho Cp is equal to one term called as alpha. Alpha is called as thermal diffusivity. Thermal diffusivity, it gives us a sense of how much heat is conducted to how much heat is stored. If alpha is more, then that material can conduct heat more quickly. If alpha is less, it can store heat good. Here if for a steady state, this term will be equal to 0. Dou T by dou T is equal to 0 because temperature does not change with time. Okay, if for a steady state, dou T by dou T is equal to 0, we'll get this equation 7 will become del square T plus Qx. This del square T is nothing but dou square T divided by dou x square plus dou square T divided by dou x square plus dou square T divided by dou z square. It is called as del operator. This equation is called as Poisson's equation. Poisson's equation. Suppose if there is no heat generation, then Qgen will be equal to 0. Then del square T is equal to 1 divided by alpha dou T by dou T. This equation is called as diffusion equation. And if steady state with no internal heat generation, then we'll get del square steady state means from the equation 7, steady state means this term will be equal to 0. Steady state means this term will be equal to 0. No heat generation means this term will be equal to 0. Then it will become del square T. Del square T is nothing but an equation called as Laplace equation. This Laplace equation is the same equation which you will get three-dimensional irrotational flow. And for without heat generation, we'll get this equation. One-dimensional steady state. One-dimensional means dou square T divided by dou x square. Because for one-dimensional, if we are analyzing in x direction, we'll assume y direction as change in temperature profile in y direction as 0. Therefore, we'll write it as dou square T divided by dou x square. For a cylindrical coordinates, for a one-dimensional conduction equation in x direction is equal to dou square T divided by dou x square. This is one-dimensional conduction equation in x direction without heat generation and for steady state flow. For a cylindrical coordinate system, we'll get the equation like this. If we derive for a cylindrical equation coordinate system, we'll get the equation like this. In the next lecture video, we'll discuss regarding boundary conditions.